I'm Dr. Scott Baylin, dentist at Catonsville Dental Care. I'm here with the third episode of Sweet and Savory Tooth Tips, and I'm excited to talk to you about what we're going to do today. So the first episode we talked about vision statement. Our second episode we talked about culture. And in culture we talked about three things. We talked about belonging, a sense of purpose, and also a sense of vulnerability. So today we're going to talk about the first thing, which is belonging. Belonging is so important to any team because every team member needs to have a role on the team that is crucial and important so that they feel valued and they bring the team up. Everybody's lifting everybody else within the practice. So that sense of belonging is super critical. So we want everybody to feel very comfortable in the practice, like they belong. And what is better than the most comfort food there is? Meatloaf and grilled cheese. And we're going to put the two of those together today, and I think you're really going to like it. You're going to see a nice blend of some fattiness and some acidity that's really going to combine super nicely, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. The other things we're going to make today are an incredible hash brown modeled after Joe's stone crab, one of my favorite hash brown / lyonnaise potatoes in the world. We're also going to make some sautéed mushrooms and some sautéed spinach. So a full meal today, and I'm sure you guys are going to love what we make. So looking forward to making that with you. So let's start with our meatloaf today. We've got our ground beef here, and then we've got a bunch of dry ingredients. If you are going to make a meatloaf, use good breadcrumbs. Do not use the stuff that comes out of a jar. Use amazing homemade breadcrumbs. Take the bread that you have lying around, put some oil and butter on it, sprinkle with some herbs. I use the salt that is great. It's like this smoky salt. We got it when we were in Peru from Maras, the salt mines there, and a little bit of pepper. Stick it in the oven, toast the bread so it gets nice and crunchy, stick it in the Vitamix. So let's add that in. Great. We've got some salt as well. We've got our seasoned salt that we used the last time. Adding that in. Great. And then we've got some already cooked onions. I like to cook the onions down a little bit first because that's going to help release some of the flavors and get them caramelized like we talked about the other day. So I've got about a cup of them here. And then we're going to need some more binding agent. So we've got 2 eggs. And we made our own barbecue sauce. The barbecue sauce, we used some bone-sucking barbecue sauce, some McCutcheon's apple butter made right here in Frederick, Maryland, some ketchup, and that's about it. We're going to reserve some of the sauce so we can use it on our grilled cheese at the end. So we're going to add probably about 2/3 of this. I'd say that's probably a cup and a half. And then we're just going to mix it all up so that it can go into our pan. While I'm mixing that up, I want to talk to you about some of the things that we've done in our practice to create a sense of belonging and a sense of togetherness and making everybody feel comfortable. So not only do we want the patients to feel comfortable because they're going to the dentist, which can be an unpleasant experience, but we want the staff to feel like this is their practice, this is their home. We want them to be friends within the practice, friends outside of the practice, and treat everybody with respect. So one fun thing that we did is we let them create their own lounge. They wanted the lounge to be a bit nicer than it was with some more amenities. So they hit an achievement goal, and once they did, we were able to give them a budget, and they took that money, they created their own little small council within the practice, and they took that money and created their budget of new furniture, new paint. They painted the entire place themselves. It looks awesome. They created a coffee bar that was super important to them. And they put a TV in so that we can use that as interactive multimedia when we do our meetings. All new furniture in there, so it was much more comfortable, much more livable. We want to have really productive meetings and use our space to the best of its ability. So they did an awesome job with that. Some of the other things we've done is we've gone to Oriole games as a group they need to work on their culture a little bit. They have not had the strongest of winning ways recently. And in fact, today is a bit of a sad day, as it would be the opening day to the 2020 season for the Baltimore Orioles that I spend with Dr. Brian Granick of Visionary Eye Care in Owings Mills. And we do that every year. We've been doing it for probably a dozen years with his amazing seats. And it's a day that I look forward to all year. And unfortunately, that day did not happen for everyone. But hopefully we're able to make it back and find another time to get that game under our belts. Hopefully the season ends or starts appropriately. So we did an Oriole game in the spring. We've also gone to Union Craft Brewery, who also started out as a small entity growing their business. They've got an amazing culture there. We've also done anti-gravitational yoga, where everybody stepped outside the box a little bit within the practice. And since they did, there were people there who uplifted them. They got out of their comfort zone a little bit, and everybody was there to help them out. Some other things we've done, we did a Valentine's Day holiday celebration this year, where everybody got to show their individuality and create Valentine's Day bags like you were in elementary school. Everybody put little notes in them from around the office, to something from, "You've got a great smile, you're a hard worker, thanks for being a great team member." Whatever it was a really great experience. Made everybody feel like they really belonged in the practice. And at the same time, show their individuality. What else have we done? We've done Field Day, which was fantastic. We did that last year. We created two teams, old school versus new school. Old school is people who've been in the office for more than 10 years, and new school is people who've been in the office for less than 10 years. Those two teams, they created cheers, we had contests, we had relay races, just a great day. And a couple of treats came along with that. Some burgers from Farmhouse Greens in Catonsville. They make awesome burgers, so support them in the community. And then another one, we brought in the cow from Reisterstown for some ice cream treats. And we even brought in 3 masseuses to do head, neck, and shoulder massages, which were a nice treat while people were not up to bat when they were playing kickball. Everybody loved the day so much, so we agreed to do that for our spring outing again this year. We hope we're able to make that happen. So those are just some of the ways that we create a sense of belonging in our practice. I bet you guys can come up with great things to do in your offices or your business. But let's get back to the meatloaf here. It looks like we've got 2 nice dishes. Don't want to pat it down too much, but looks like that when we're all done. And we're going to throw this in the oven for about an hour, or about 45 minutes at about 350 degrees. And when it's out and nice and cool, we'll start on the grilled cheeses. See you in a minute. All right, welcome back. We're going to make our hash brown now. So we've got the rest of our onions that have been cooking down nicely. And we are going to add a bunch of butter to it, about a stick. We're going to add a bunch of olive oil to it. And we've added some more salt and some pepper. And some more of the seasoned salt. And we'll add a little bit more after we add the potatoes. But this is an awesome, home-style, delicious combination of flavors here with about 5 ingredients, and you are going to wow your friends and families with this dish. So I took those potatoes, they were already baked, so they're already cooked, and they've got a nice, we left most of the peel on there, took some peel off. I think that it adds more flavor if it's got the peel on there. We're going to add a little more olive oil to this. And some more seasoned salt. And we're just going to mix that up one more time real well. And it's going to form this amazing crust. And then we're going to get that in the oven. It's going to look like this. We'll get that in the oven and you'll see how that turns out. And it's going to be an amazing hash brown.
2,000 years later.
All right, welcome back. Let's assemble our ultimate comfort food, our meatloaf grilled cheese. So we've got sourdough bread. We've got a melted butter and olive oil. As you can see, I like that combo a lot. The olive oil tends to burn, so it's got a lower burn point than the butter does. So once we get it on both sides, we will be good to go. And we want to elevate that burn point to make sure that everything is nice and brown. We want a nicely browned, well-melted grilled cheese sandwich. This is going to be the ultimate because we are combining some amazing flavors here. So you can hear that sizzle a little bit. Probably got to turn that down just a smidge. We do not want this to burn. We are going to put some of our barbecue sauce back on. We've also taken some guajillo chilies that we put with a little bit of acid again. So that's apple cider vinegar. The acid goes really well with anything fatty. So on a grilled cheese sandwich, you've got a lot of fat. You've got butter. You've got cheese. You've got this amazing meatloaf. And you got to cut it. So that's why barbecue sauce is awesome. It's got also some cider vinegar in there too. We took our exact same barbecue sauce and then we added in these amazing chilies. It gives it an incredible smoky flavor. A little bit of heat. That looks great. We're going to add in our cheese. We're doing two kinds of cheeses today. We got a cheddar cheese. Perfect. We've got a Munster cheese. 2 slices again. Let's do it that way. Awesome. Boom. And then our meatloaf turned out incredible. You can put, on this piece of bread, I could probably fit 2 on here. Why not? If we're doing an ultimate one, let's do it up. Boom. All right. 1 more slice of the bread. We've got a little more of the barbecue sauce on here. Just like that. And this fat and acid combo is great. A lot of people think about sweet and savory, which I do too, but you gotta think about fat and acid. People love fat and acid when they're together, and the reason is because the acid brightens up the fat and it elevates the sandwich to a whole nother level. For instance, corned beef goes great with coleslaw. Why? Because it's got the vinegar in the coleslaw. Pastrami goes great with sauerkraut. Why? Sauerkraut cuts it, elevates it a little bit. We're going to have our hash browns in just a smidge. And those hash browns are going to be great with what? Ketchup, which is an acid again. Everybody loves dipping their french fries in. So, we've got that going. Let's cut into this. Let's grab a knife and see how this looks. Amazing. Are you ready? My cameraman might have to zoom in on this. But boom. This gives you a sense of belonging. This is going to need to belong in your belly in a couple of minutes. All right, welcome back everybody. We're ready for our side dishes. We've got 2. We're making a sautéed mushroom. So we've got some olive oil in there and a whole lot of mushrooms. Fantastic. We got bella mushrooms and white mushrooms, and we've got some porcini mushrooms all cut up and in there. All we have to do, add a little salt. Perfect. We are also to this dish going to add Divine, which is one of my favorite beers in the world. Am I holding that up right? That's from Union Craft Brewery, Adam Benish, one of the owners, and they do amazing stuff down there, have great culture. So we're going to add that in. Let this all cook down nicely. Ooh, these are going to be tasty. And then we got our spinach that's going to go in here. Super easy, if I don't burn myself. Great. And we're going to let that cook down. When it's all done, we're going to add some raisins to it. Again, this is going to be really nice. You're going to have some of the acidity, a little bit of fat here. This, everything will cook down nicely, and we're going to have a beautiful side dish. I'll show you when it's all done. But this is fantastic. We got coming back in a second with some dessert.
2,000 years later.
All right, our hash browns are out of the oven. They look amazing. We flipped it, and it came out beautifully. And the last thing we have, after our incredible, amazing comfort food of meatloaf on a grilled cheese sandwich, we've got our hash browns, we've got our mushrooms that are almost done, we've got our spinach that turned out great, and lastly, we've got a cupcake that I made this morning. I took the leftover ricotta from yesterday's edition when we made the baklava, and I turned that into a cupcake, a lemon ricotta cupcake. There was even a little extra batter. I made myself a pancake with it. It came out incredible, and I'm pretty excited for you guys to get a close-up shot of this. I have a picture coming up. So I want you guys to live well, I want you to eat well, and I want your practices to be full of a great culture. Enjoy yourself. Make everybody feel like they belong. See you soon.